Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to round 2 of episode 5 of Wrenched. Today we've got our 3 remaining competitors here, Lumindia, Way of Time, and Waxed, who got a special pass, luckily, because somebody had to leave last round. So Waxed, you get to hang out with us for round 2. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Go ahead, contestants, and open your mystery chests. And for round 2, you must use the following items in your crazy builds. You must use an energy condenser from Equivalent Exchange, a water mill from Industrial Craft, a machine block from Industrial Craft, and stone wafers from Red Power 2. 30 minutes are on the clock, and your time starts now.
Shooting out
shining
out.
Judges, go ahead. Let's switch into the judging room so we can start discussing these crazy items that these guys got while they start putting together some neat builds.
User left your channel. User was moved out of your channel.
Insert me running around with my head cut off.
User was moved out of your channel.
This time we'll do it right.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna put.
You were moved.
All right. So, what do you guys think here?
Put a condenser in, that's awesome.
Yeah, condenser is kind of there. I'm interested to see if anybody decides to condense water buckets for their water mill system.
I want to see somebody condense. Can we not condense resin?
You can, yes.
Yeah, I want to see somebody condense resin for rubber.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yep. And so let's go over the items again for the viewers who may not be familiar with everything. The energy condenser is a machine from Equivalent Exchange. Allows you to do a whole bunch of cool stuff. Pretty much you can condense any form of energy coming from Equivalent Exchange into a specific item. Just place it in the target slot and it'll quickly condense any items you place in here into that item. So you can condense diamonds down into stone if you want, or vice versa, stone to diamonds. Just got to target it. You can also hook it up next to an energy collector or an antimatter relay, and it'll start creating items out of the EMC stored in those devices. We've also got a water mill, which is industrial craft related, and this guy has 2 options for generating industrial craft power. Basically, you either need to place it in water, so that it's sitting inside a water source and it'll generate a small amount of IC2 power, or you can place water inside by putting a bucket or some kind of capsule or something into the bottom of the industrial craft water mill. So those are your options there. So I'm interested to see what these guys come up with. What do you all think?
I actually remember from my previous experience here that with the condenser, or actually even without one, people created some very nice items, such as Paima created Swiftwolf, I think. Very interesting use of what you can do with it.
Oh, yeah. Yep, condenser should give them pretty much, it's basically a good way to create an infinite number of items. So people might be condensing water buckets is kind of what I was thinking I would use that for, but really there's, you know, pretty much any option here.
It's basically a wild card. You can do anything you want with it.
Yep, and as always, that's kind of, you know, part of what I choose the items with. I want them to be able to have a lot of different options. I like to see many different builds on all the different platforms, rather than everybody kind of building the same thing.
I'll be honest, if they use the condenser for water buckets, I'm going to be disappointed.
Oh, yeah?
I tell you why. In a real-world situation, getting water buckets is really, really easy.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And using a condenser for something like that is something you would never, ever do.
True. You're right.
And the other thing I'm thinking here is these 4 items go together really, really easily. So they shouldn't struggle on that side. So if we don't see something that's at least relatively pretty to look at, then I would mark them down for that as well. There should be no problems on this. The actual functionality.
Yep. Now, the machine block is obviously an industrial craft item. It's basically used for almost all the different blocks in industrial craft. It's pretty much you can do whatever you want with it. And that's there to indicate, all right, you're given a way to create industrial craft energy. Now do something with it. I'll be interested to see what they come up with. A lot of the times when we give them a machine block, they usually wind up going with an MFE. So I'm kind of hoping we see something a little better than that this time. But, you know, in fairness, you know, they can do whatever they want. And then finally,
Yeah.
the stone wafers here are used in Red Power 2 to create pretty much all the different logic circuits. So this is a way of testing whether or not they know their logic gates from Red Power 2. They basically are given stone wafers and have to make at least one.
Yeah, I think it's quite obvious from the given items that, like, everything that you've given them is very much usable in a lot of different builds. And like Slowpoke said, I think going for a statics here will give more points because you can basically do everything, like everything comes to mind, and making it look pretty will give points here, in my opinion.
I mean, I'd actually like to see the machine be used in the machine block be used in an advanced machine. You know, the centrifuge reactor or an induction furnace. I know there's nothing to stop them from making one of them, rather than
Sure.
just a standard machine. Let's push the boat out a little bit with this. And I'm actually glad I'm looking around the platforms here, and they are looking to be building not just functional, but there is aesthetics in this here, which is really cool.
Yeah, Waxed is already starting with some kind of wood contraption. I'm not sure exactly what he's planning, but it looks interesting, that's for sure. He's got is that a deployer in his hand? So maybe filling water
Yeah.
buckets. And then it looks like Way of Flowing Time here has gone with the water mill inside the flowing water method. So he's generating some industrial craft power in his water mill here. It's just a matter of getting it out. Looks like he has a bare copper wire. So I do believe we give them resin in their chests over here.
Yes.
One of them does have resin, I believe.
Doesn't mean they need to use it though, does it? Really?
No, not really. I'll be honest with you though. I see a flaw with Way of Flowing Time's design here.
Why?
Because there's no water on the top.
Nope.
No.
Anybody?
Have a look. Hold on. What cable is that? Is that copper cable?
Yeah, that's
Correct.
copper cable.
Uninsulated.
It's uninsulated, isn't it?
How is that the problem?
Does it work?
There is an extremely small amount of energy created by a water mill. I believe energy loss will play a big role.
Yeah.
I think it creates less
Oh.
than 1 EU per tick. Isn't that true when it's inside flowing
Is
water
it
like that?
0.5? Well, it's dependent on how many water blocks are around it, isn't it?
I think it is, but it's still very small. It's a really
Yeah.
small amount.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
well, it
why we
depends.
normally use water buckets. And
Yep.
What is
The
systems?
proper wiring to use here would be tin cabling. Yeah, that's what I would recommend, because I would not be surprised if this copper cable, even just a few blocks long, would cause energy loss, especially uninsulated, to the point where that water mill is not generating any power. It'll all be lost.
Well, it's not finished yet, and you can't tell. He might be placing a pad box or an MFE right here where the copper ends, and I think that's enough, actually.
It might be, but I'm honestly not sure. Well, I mean, we'll find out, right?
Yep.
Yep. Now, looks like Waxed is, trying to make up for last round and really, placing down some stuff quickly. He's already got his energy condenser here. He's got, it looks like 2 transposers, one on either side, and a chest on one. So it looks like he's setting something up to pump into the energy condenser through transposers and then pump out. And he'll probably use the tiles to go ahead and do that stuff.
Yeah. Again, I think every possible setup here is very, very easy. Like, I think it might be even too easy that you might actually get like too many ideas in your head and might actually get something that's a little bit overcomplicated and not something that's fleshed out too much to actually be a valid build.
Yep.
But he's doing pretty good, I think, so far.
Yep, looks like Way of Flowing Time did go with an MFE up here. Now I'm interested to see. Yeah, looks like it is slowly building up power. So he did stick it directly on top here. So
I've got
I guess he's all right.
EU.
Very small amount of EU generation, though. You can see extremely low.
It's actually 8.
I seem to be building another pool here, a 3x1.
Yeah, he is. Maybe for water extraction?
Probably.
Maybe he plans to pump water in as well, into the bottom of it.
To even make it more efficient. Yeah, it could be a valid. Yeah, it did make a hole right here on the side for a possible tubing or something to go in there.
Sure.
Yeah. It's actually so low that you can't measure it.
So do you guys have mob eggs as one of the grabbable items?
Mob eggs? No.
No.
That's something you guys should consider adding. You could add the horrible like mushroom farms and stuff could be made, or like the chicken randomizers.
That's true. That might not be a bad idea, actually. And oh my, looks like we're already almost 10 minutes into this episode here.
Wow.
We've already got 10 minutes down almost. So yeah, lots and lots of time has already passed. These guys only have about 20 minutes left.
And yellow is really struggling.
Yeah, yellow quite empty here. And I
Absolutely
think
nothing in the project here. What the hell?
Yeah, the amount of energy being created by this watermill is extremely low.
well, that's one watermill. You can't deny it. That's simply that's a watermill. It does provide energy, but very very low.
Yep, and it looks like Way of Time here, go ahead and making a mess on his platform, but does have placed down a deployer. So it looks like he's doing the same deployer build that he did last round to collect water.
Okay. I believe that we're going to see a macerator
Oh, from who?
from Nux.
Oh, wow. Yep. Yellow side has a macerator going on, and already have a timer going over here on Waxed side. So he did go ahead and build a timer last time with vanilla redstone. Looks like he got over his fear of redstone timers.
That was a pure guess, by the way. I just saw him making some flint, so.
Oh yeah, if he's doing flint, then yeah, he's got it. Yep, condenser already down on Nux's side, but that's really all he's put down so far. So interested to see where he goes from there.
We want to pull people in?
Yeah, let's do that. Go ahead and pull in Lumindia.
User left your channel. User was moved to your channel. Joined your channel.
Hey, Lumindia, wanted to check in with you and see how you're making out. What'd you think of these items?
Hello?
He's working too hard. He doesn't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
Can we pull him in a minute?
Are you there, Lumindia? Can you hear us?
He was there a minute ago.
Oh, okay. Yep. He's probably just working too hard. So let's let him get back to working. We'll swap him out with Waxed.
User was moved out of your channel. User left your channel. User was moved to your channel.
Okay.
Hey, Waxed, wanted to check in with you and find out how you liked these items and what you're thinking to build.
These are much better than the last items, and I have a great idea if I get it work.
Cool.
So, but it's a secret.
Oh, a secret.
We'll see.
Sounds good.
Yeah, secret.
Okay.
Cool. Well, we'll let you get back to it. We don't want to keep you tied up.
Yeah.
So we'll swap him out for Way of Flowing Time.
User left your channel. User was moved to your channel. Joined your channel.
Okay.
Hey, Way, how's it going?
It's going well enough. Just trying to make a timer right now. Might as well finish that ahead of time, unlike last time, and connect the rest of the stuff. Sorry, I can't really articulate very well right now.
No problem. We'll let you get back to it. Just wanted to check in.
Okay, thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
Cool. Looks like we've got some redstone engines going on with the yellow side here. Lumindia sounds like he's having TeamSpeak issues, so he couldn't talk to us, but we'll get his comments in a bit.
I think Wax is going for some sort of recycling empty buckets into back to water buckets, and basically with equivalent exchange, that's actually quite very useful because a water bucket is only one EMC more, so that's quite like indefinitely system.
Yep.
It will work forever, pretty much.
That is true.
What would you suppose this is for then?
I have no idea.
I'm curious the fact that this is lined up.
It might be a coincidence.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, these three builds are all very different. Not sure where or what they're thinking.
I'm quite worried about yellow. The platform is very empty.
Yeah, the platform is pretty empty, and they've really only got, it looks like, about 16 minutes left. Yeah, they just passed the 16-minute mark. And I'll be right back, guys. I have to mute. Recording's still on, though, so keep talking.
Yeah, so Nux has just made his macerator, so that's ready and down. Let's look at what else we've got. Waxed is now making electronic circuits. Looks of it. And he looks like he's definitely got the components to make a timer there. That go down? Yeah. That's good.
None of them still, none of them doesn't have any sort of proper machine yet. You can't actually decide what's going on just yet. So, but I am quite worried about yellow. Still nothing's happening there.
Yellow has redstone in their condenser. That's interesting.
He's just made a bat box.
And I'm back. So, yeah, looks like we got some cool stuff going on here, huh?
This is actually interesting. He's probably not gonna do it, but this is very interesting because you can actually use redstone dust in order to create industrial craft energy.
That's true.
Going to do that. That's actually gonna be very interesting. Never saw it happening.
Yeah, that is actually a pretty neat plan that he has going on there. Yep, and Waxed has a bunch of items laying on the ground. And I'll be honest, I am not sure. I guess the water mill can be fed from the side with the transposer, so cool. I know in the past it had to go in the bottom, but I think it's okay on the side now.
Is it in this version?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Way of Flowing Time barely has any energy produced so far with his water mill. It's only produced 2,800-ish EU at this point.
Yeah.
So probably about a week and a half to fill up this MFE is what I would estimate, but I might be wrong. And with that, we've only got 13 and a half minutes left in this round, so these guys better step on the gas. Let's see if you were right over here. We do have a macerator down, hooked up to the bat box.
Yeah.
Cool. Very neat. So the macerator is what he decided to use his machine block for. Waxed looks like he's working hard. He's got items all over the floor, stuff all over the place. He is currently making a compressor, it looks like. That's cool. Not sure what he might be doing with that.
Oh.
Wax is very organized, I must say.
Yeah, that could be the case.
I like his inventory management where he's simply picking up stuff and throwing other stuff and then again.
Is he going to make a snowball machine?
That could be his plan. That is definitely a possibility.
Everything is possible with those items, really. You got power generation, you got EMC conversion, you got red power, timers and stuff, and basically every industrial craft machine. You got everything you need.
Correct. Oh, looks like Way of Flowing Time is putting items into an automatic crafting table via pneumatic tubing.
He's starting to work with covers, and I mean that's nice, but I think that's quite a time waster at the moment since he doesn't have any working machine just yet. So it's kind of things.
He's auto-crafting, by the way, empty cells from industrial craft. That's interesting. Is he planning to fill the water mill with empty cells?
Could be.
Could be. And looks like we're hitting down to the 11-minute mark, pretty close to that. 11 minutes, 15 seconds remain in round 2, episode 5 of Wrenched.
Now, Lumidia is starting to have some design here.
Yeah, he's also got some, looks like he manually placed some water cells in his water mill, and is also letting it sit inside water so that it can, you know, do its thing.
Yeah, and he's using the insulated copper cable, so he's actually generating a proper amount of EU compared to the blue platform.
Yes, he's creating a lot more than Way of Time. Waxed, spending his time chatting.
Yeah.
And I still haven't got a clue.
Yeah, he's got a compressor going on. Looks like he's got transposers all around that water mill. Now it's on the top. Why would he move the transposer to the top? I'm not sure.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I haven't got a clue.
Batteries can go into the top of a water mill.
Unless this is meant to have buckets in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It can't. No, it can't be that.
Going into the top of a water mill would be an industrial craft battery if you want to charge them up. But, I mean, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I haven't got a clue on that one. I'll wait till this finish.
Yeah, and I'm really confused at what Way of Flowing Time is doing with this wooden waterproof pipe hanging out down here.
He might actually take out empty cells with the design looking like this. By accident.
Yeah, really not sure what he's planning to do. So he's creating tin with his EMC, and then creating empty cells with an automatic crafting table, and then he's gonna, I guess, pump them into the deployer, which will perhaps eventually, yep, looks like it's going to fill the water mill with that. So that, if he gets it working, will be a pretty solid build, I guess you could say.
When you place...
We have some movement on yellow.
Oh yeah, what's going on over on yellow?
It's not a whole lot. He's filling up a back box, powering macerator.
Oh, he appears to be
EMC
using
generator.
blaze rods.
Blaze
Okay.
rods, yeah.
Yep. And I presume that he is going to then be creating infinite EMC.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what he's doing.
He had a plan.
He did. He did. That's absolutely true. Infinite EMC, courtesy of the blaze rod duplication bug.
Now, I'd like to see if in this build he's got 8 minutes for him to offshoot that EMC somewhere, rather than just let it fill that chest.
Yeah, either way works.
Just put it somewhere.
Yep.
You still haven't got the stone wafers though in that build just yet.
Yep. So what's interesting here is at this point in the game, with about 8 minutes remaining, we know what Way of Flowing Time has planned, and we know what Lumindia has planned, but Waxed is yet again a mystery to us. We have no idea what his thought process is at this point.
Oh, this is Waxed.
Yep, that's true. But he does have all his items down at this point, so he has already placed everything. So he's got water. It does appear he has water going... Okay. Is he... I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to pump the empty buckets out into the system here.
Yeah, but right now he's pumping water buckets. He's gonna have a problem, I think. Looking at, look, it should be a filter, not a transposer, to make sure it's only taking out empty buckets. Right now, it's taking also water buckets, and that's quite pointless. Also, since he doesn't have any sort of an energy buffer, until he's not using anything from the compressor, until it doesn't use the energy, it doesn't go anywhere, and it doesn't generate, it doesn't have any sort of a buffer, so it's quite not very efficient.
It's interesting, that's for sure. Interested to see where he goes with it. Don't really know.
And decided to start going with aesthetics now.
Yeah, yep. But these guys don't have a terribly large amount of time left. It looks like we are down to 6.5 minutes.
It seems like Way of Flowing Time went for a collector just in case to back up his EMC here. Unlike wax, that simply threw a couple of diamonds inside. That actually prefer the collector way. It's actually more self-sustaining. Also, the yellow platform did something with the blaze rods. Actually prefer the more self-sustaining systems over the ones where you simply have to manually feed them.
Oh no, that's interesting. Does he have a redstone pipe there?
Yeah, apparently he's trying to generate a redstone signal for something. I have no clue what for, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either, to be honest with you.
That is the redstone pipe, right?
Yeah, yeah. Whenever an item's going through it, it emits a redstone signal. But it looks to be a little bit of display lag going on, but it should be emitting a redstone signal every time an item
Yeah,
goes
it
through.
definitely does. It definitely does. I've just seen it do it.
Yep. Yeah.
There you go. Here we go.
Looks like Waxed has some stuff going on over here. Still has the transposer on the top of the water mill. And he has water buckets in the top of the water mill. I don't know why he has that going on.
Oh, we are getting really short time, aren't we now? 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yep, there we go. So, an interesting idea by Lumindia there to create the infinite, you know, blaze rod farm thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. How's Way of Time doing over here? It looks like he has an obsidian pipe. Oh, look at that. He's got a transposer shooting items into an obsidian pipe. He realized that you can't use pneumatic tubes with an automatic crafting table all that well.
Well, that's a solution.
Yeah, that works. I mean, that's interesting. I'd like to see him get his, you know, his transposer pulling items out of the block on the same connection of the timer that he has with his water, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I still don't understand why this is a wooden waterproof pipe here. I don't know what that's about. Unless that's just a display bug on my part, but I don't think it is.
No, I'm actually also seeing it as a wooden waterproof one.
Yeah, not sure what that is, but I'm imagining he has a plan.
Oh, it's a misbuild.
He's got to notice. Like, that's not something he can't see.
No, well. And he
Waxed
made it.
is, you know, covering up all his stuff with some wood over here. Interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely going for looks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yep.
you know, I like that because nobody tends to do that, and it's always good. But there's so much. What is all of this stuff around?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Aesthetics to me is more about the aesthetics of the machine rather than just
Yeah.
covering it with wood. I mean, like, for example, last round we had a build where there was a lot of tubing all over the place that wasn't necessary. That wasn't very aesthetically pleasing. But the build that we have here, for example, on the yellow platform, this is nice and compact and is aesthetically pleasing. Oh, he's got a counter going on. Interesting. He's using a counter to count something. I'm not sure what. But yeah, he's counting the blaze rods going through the system. But yeah, this is what I mean by aesthetics. It's more about, you know, making a machine that looks nice rather than covering your machine with wooden blocks.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't disagree with that.
I mean, that's my opinion. You know, judges get to choose how they want to judge, but...
I do have a problem with both yellow and blue. Both of them are taking items out of the chest with the wooden pipe, and they actually forget the fact that they might actually pull out items that they're not planning to. Like right here on blue you actually saw it happening before. He was taking empty cells instead of water cells, and that's a problem because if that gets into the water mill, it will get his machine jammed and not working the way he intended it to.
We move up.
Come again?
You want to move up into the other room?
Yeah, looks like we're getting right about to that 2-minute warning point, so yeah, let's switch it up.
User left your channel. You were
What? 2 minutes?
User
Yep,
was
2
moved
minutes
to your
remain at this
channel.
point, guys, so...
What? It says 9 minutes for me.
User was
I'm getting
moved
an
to your
issue
channel.
with my deployer, and it's really annoying.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
Basically,
minutes, it says
it's
9
not
minutes.
taking any of the water from it.
I've seen issues with deployers where it depends on the orientation of the block. Like, the deployer has... I would say try moving it to another side, but I count that as a bug, so if you want to leave it where it is...
Yeah, I don't think there's any time
It is
left
picking
anyways.
water. It is picking water up.
It's
Yeah.
picking water.
It's picking up water cells.
No,
Question.
I only put the water cells in there
Okay,
afterwards.
well, we'll count that as a bug then, because that should work.
Yeah, what's
I
the
have a
question?
question. Does it count that, for example, if I with transposer put in buckets from the side, right, into my water mill, right, and it puts them in both bottom and the top slot, which I want them to put them in the bottom slot, which should
1 minute
go from
remains.
side.
No,
No,
the
but
side, I
that's,
believe.
Yeah.
What?
Water mills are side oriented, so.
Well, this one is putting it, one transposer is putting him in both top and bottom slots.
Yep. I don't know. We'll have to see it in action. All right, guys. You have less than a minute remaining at this point. You've got almost 30 seconds left. 35 at this point. You gotta hurry it up and put on your finishing touches.
Matt around.
Yep. Almost here, guys. And 20 seconds remain at this point. Oh boy. Big old mess going on over on the blue platform.
Actually,
They
that's
got mess on my
intended.
platform.
Alright, guys. Coming up on 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Time has ended. You guys got to step away from your builds and come on down to the center platform, please. Come on, Wax. Move it. Alright, guys. That's the end of round 2 of episode 5 of Wrench. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the judging. Alright, guys. Welcome to round 2 of episode 5 of Wrenched. We're ready to judge the builds that these contestants have made. So, Waxed, we're on your platform, so go ahead and walk us through what you made.
I made the ultimate wrenchinator, compressor, column D. If you look in here.
Okay. Cool. So, what does it do? How does it work?
Well, basically it abuses the fact that EMC, like water buckets and normal buckets without water, are only one EMC difference. So what it does is takes items from this chat, gets them through the transposer into this water bucket thing here, and basically it puts them into this condenser, which I put some diamonds in. You just have to get like an iron ingot is enough to get all started and be unlimited, kind of, for 200 water cycles, for example. And it just puts the buckets into the water mill system, and then gives power and then extracts them from the other side. And I had a problem here where it inserted water buckets in the bottom slot, but it, you know, it inserted water buckets in the bottom slot and in the top slot. It was just, it inserted both bottom and top slots. So I'm not sure what it does right now, but basically it just loops around now.
Yep. All right, judges, your
And I can
thoughts?
turn it off. I have a turn off switch at the outside.
Did you test it?
I did.
So if you don't mind, I'm gonna put a stack of water cells in the compressor, right?
Sure,
Yeah,
go
is
for
this
it.
producing enough power to actually keep a compressor going for more than like a second?
I'm actually, yeah, that's what I'm testing, because you have no way to basically store any power here. I think that your buffer is gonna end up very quickly, actually, and I might be
I don't think
mistaken
so.
though. Yeah, I think actually,
Yeah, for
you
some
know what?
reason there's a glitch where it puts the items in the bottom. I had that glitch during my build, but you know, probably should put them in the bottom slot. But yeah.
Yeah, your water buckets are going in the wrong slot at the moment. But I think overall that's a very solid build. It
It
does
is
what
keeping
it's supposed to do.
It is,
And the looks, the house around it, you know. Am I singing in chat? You know.
All right,
Can I ask
Slowpoke?
what the bit in the middle is?
What a bit in the middle is, what do you mean?
This bit here. Here.
Oh, this? I was initially planning on something with a deplorer with water, and then I came out like, no, wait, equivalent exchange as the solution.
Okay, so it's just ignore it then.
Yeah.
It's
Just
a bit of
ignore
wood.
it doesn't belong here.
Okay.
It's a fish.
Bit of wood.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Alright.
I'll say
Matabes?
one thing about it. I'm not a fan. The fact that you're kind of using an exploit in EMC values.
I don't think it's an exploit. It was
well,
meant to
it's-
be this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not a fan of your use of
Yeah,
EMC, then
okay.
I will say. Also, A quick fix for things going in the wrong slot with red power 2. Always shove a piece of glass or something in the slot that you don't want the item to go to. Give that a shot, see if it fixes it if you can't figure it out by a side. But it's okay. Build's okay.
Yep, and the only note that I will make is that it's not a bug that it's not going into the bottom of the watermill. You have to pump items into the bottom of the block in order for it to go into the bottom slot. So if you've seen my infinite water build system, that's why you see me using retrievers, and everything's always getting pumped into the bottom of watermills.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
But that's only the small note.
Stay away from this machine, because it actually is showing up a bit of a flaw here.
So let's head up the yellow side and see what's going on. What'd you say there, Slowpoke?
It's actually overflowing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. All right, let's walk through the build. So this build belonged to Lumindia. So Lumindia, talk us through it.
Test it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good. It's having issues. Anyway, we have the watermill being powered by water. Now, obviously, you probably have, for a proper watermill system, there'd be more watermills, like a tower like I tried one time, but anyway. And the watermill powering the bat box, which is in turn powering the macerator, which is macerating blaze rods into blaze dust. The redstone engine pumps the dust out. A distributor pipe sends 3 into the energy condenser and sends 2 into the chest. And then with they finally managed to get the counter in this time. So it's supposed to be counting, but oh
No,
wait.
it is counting, I think.
No, it looks like the redstone pipe is still stuck on. Oh wait, there we go. Is there an easy way to tell if what the counter's at?
Not really.
Nope.
Yeah.
Alright, let me go ahead and jump on this one here, if it's okay.
Bump that down.
First of all, your redstone pipe issue you're having there is you need to have a gold pipe to get the items fast through the redstone pipe faster, because you're having multiple pipes in the item at the same time and you're getting a constant signal. And 2, by doing the distribution pipe, which was cool that you did that, the numbers you chose, so 3 back into a blaze rod, 2 into the chest. You're never going to have any growth in blaze rods. Your goal probably should have been 4 in, 1 out to get exponential growth.
Huh.
Here it's going to stay the same speed because you're literally accumulating the energy levels.
I stuck a blaze rod in the crafting table and I got 2 blaze powders out. So I'm sticking a blaze rod plus half into the condenser.
Are you sending 2 or are you sending 3 into the condenser?
3 into the condenser.
I apologize, you're sending 1 extra. I had the numbers backwards.
Okay.
So one critique was the redstone pipe wasn't quite used so skillfully. But yeah.
Yeah, realizing that now I should have put the gold pipe there.
Oh, the next Slowpoke, anybody?
What's the point of the collector, the counter?
Yeah, I guess just to keep track of how many items or blaze rods went through.
But you can't read it.
Yeah, again, they have some sort of redstone lamp system to, when it reaches the max, it would light up.
Yeah, all right, I got you.
Cool. Any other comments?
Oh.
All right, then let's head over onto the blue side, way of flowing time. Just wanted to alert everyone that I've seen this bug personally. Deployers are a little bit funny sometimes about being able to fill cells. Basically, it depends on what side of the water block you're on. So it might have worked if you had placed it on one of the other sides, but that's kind of a red power 2 bug, so I'm personally not going to think that you need to be, bothered with that.
Yeah, hit a point where there was almost no time to fix it.
Yeah, so I'm going to say don't worry about it. But all right,
Okay.
judges, go ahead.
Okay, so this is a pretty basic design. It starts with a condenser that's making a bunch of tin using the collector here to generate the EMC. This timer, if I switch it on, will use this transposer and throw it out. The reason it's throwing out and going into an obsidian pipe is because for some reason I could not get any buildcraft items to connect to a condenser, and I couldn't get any red power stuff connecting well with the crafting table. So when enough tin goes into the crafting table, it should go in and create the tin capsules. It'll then go over to this deployer that, if it was working, it'd be able to pull the water cells out. I didn't manage to have a way to guarantee only water cells were pulled out, so it's a bit buggy. And then it'll get thrown into the bottom of the water mill, which is surrounded by water to generate a bit more EU per tick. And
Cool.
It's going in the bottom and getting a bit of energy, and this is just a storage device, doesn't really have any end goal, but it could be used power, say, an electric furnace.
Very cool.
With an
And
upgrade.
I imagine this is not a waterproof wooden pipe here in the middle by your timer.
No, it isn't. Which one are you looking at?
The one right next to your timer and lever.
For me, it's a waterproof pipe as well.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
what it
look
looks
same
like
here.
a waterproof to me.
What's it look like to you?
It looks like a normal stone pipe, and it seemed to disappear right now.
Yeah, Matabase.
It might have broken it to check what it is.
It actually disappeared entirely.
Yeah.
Okay, placing it back, is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. I'm pretty sure that was just a little bit of a bug, so I won't count you against that either. You know, that we've seen that every
Seen a
now and
bug.
then. It's weird, but it happens.
This version of Buildcraft's pretty bloop.
Cool. All right, judges, up to you to talk about what your thoughts are. Go on.
You said you didn't have any way to filter out what you're taking out of the deployer. Basically, you can also take empty cells and water cells.
I didn't have any time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So time is the issue because you are aware to that's a problem, because if you're getting empty cells in your water mill like you got right now, you're screwed pretty much.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Something that was picked up really early on as well, the choice of uninsulated copper wire to attach the water mill to the your MFA.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you went with uninsulated copper, not tin or insulated?
Well, it was the quickest one that I could just place down. I was planning to place some rubber on it. In fact, I do have some rubber in my inventory, but I forgot to add that.
I mean, like Daiwo said right at the beginning, you will, even with this distance, you will lose almost all of the energy that you produce at water mill.
Yep.
And that's why you produce so little energy in that time.
Yeah.
Tin would have fixed that problem.
Cool.
Um,
Okay. And the one thing... Go ahead, Metabase, and then I'll make a comment, too.
I know it's a bug. I'm not going to count them against it. The thing with the cells, my common practice for getting cells is put the deployer facing down on top of the water, and you generally don't have an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Just
an option.
in the future, rule of thumb. I also wanted to mention, I wasn't around, and I wasn't around for the round, so I didn't see it. I wanted to mention that an insulated copper cable. It's a really big faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned something about red power in your auto crafting table. You're having issues with it?
Yeah, with the condenser and the... Yeah.
I don't think red power
Yeah.
pneumatic tubes
Yeah.
go into an auto crafter.
It
Correct.
goes
That
in,
doesn't-
but it fills the topmost before any other.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite serve your purpose. Another hint: a condenser sitting right next to the auto crafting table producing the required item will satisfy the recipe
Derp.
without any
Yep.
need for moving it.
The
Go ahead,
only
Darryl.
note that I would make that I don't think anybody covered is we do have advanced wooden pipes on the server. So you could have used an advanced wooden pipe here and tell it to only pull out, water cells.
I have
Yes.
no clue how they work.
Oh,
Never
okay. They
used
work,
it.
you know how a filter works versus a transposer?
Oh, okay, so
Yep.
it only pulls out those items when supplied with energy. Okay.
Basically, yeah. You can tell it to include items or exclude. So you can say it only pull these or pull anything but these.
Okay.
Yep. So that was your the way you could have done that, but that's cool. All right,
Okay.
guys. Well, it looks like the judges have a lot to consider here because these 3 builds are all pretty solid, to be honest with you, in my opinion. But we're going to head to the judging room, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, guys. We're now in the judging round of round 2, episode 5 of Wrenched. Me and the judges are in a private room here where we're going to talk about things and hear your thoughts, guys. So, judges, I don't know, Slowpoke, what do you think?
I think that we had 3 solid builds, but all 3 made fundamental mistakes on these. Actual fundamental mechanic mistakes more than any. But like I said, I think all 3 were reasonably good builds. They all performed, or they would perform like they were planning to do, except for these fundamental mistakes. I think that, as Matt said right early on, with Waxed build, what it's actually planning to do, whether this will last over any period of time, I'm not sure. It has run out of energy now. It managed to do, what, 5 capsules before, 5 snowballs before it just completely ran out of energy. I think everybody here knew that's exactly what was going to happen.
Right. If he had placed the transposer underneath the watermill, it would have worked,
Yeah.
but then he wouldn't have any way to get it to go back, to pull it out, basically.
Yeah, on Gallo's side, as Malabase said, the red pipe, that's an easy fix. Really simple fix. All it is that those blades. But other than that, it's a fairly solid build. And finally, on blue side, what you said right at the beginning, this use of the copper cable for me is the big.
I would have preferred to see tin. It's equally as easy to make.
Pardon?
Yeah, I agree. I would have preferred to see tin. It's equally as easy to make, but it is functioning. Like, obviously, power's getting in there. So.
It absolutely is, but for mechanics-wise, that is a big... You do not do that, and anybody who does do that is using it... tin is designed specifically for this purpose.
Sure.
So, that for me is the 3 downsides to each build.
Odedex, any thoughts there?
Builds.
I'm looking, what's interesting more for me is the way they use the core items. And all of them use the condenser, all of them use the stone wafers, the machine block, and the water mill. But personally, a condenser is like best used when you generate EMC. So there are 3 solutions here. One of them used a collector. One of them used basically an EMC cycle with blaze rods. But Waxed, he didn't actually use the fact that condenser can like convert EMC basically through a stack of diamonds inside it, and it will last a long time, quite a long time. But again, I don't know.
It's a waste of a condenser, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like against the spirit of the condenser. It doesn't do exactly what it's supposed to do, because the same solution can simply be used with a deployer facing a 3x1 water pool and filling the buckets back up. Like, I don't know, that's not a pretty solution in my opinion for the condenser.
And technically he is turning diamonds into water.
But
like,
I mean, that doesn't bother me, because that's like Rube Goldberg, you know.
Right, that's kind of like the silly Rube Goldberg kind of way to do it.
Yeah, it's just it's a waste of materials that we've given. That bothers, I think, and it's still got a fundamental mistake in it.
Yeah. Matabase, your thoughts?
Just to do a quick thing here, Wax build. Had he had a cobble gen instead of this loop, had he had a cobble gen to provide filled buckets from his unfilled buckets and a way to successfully pull them out of the watermill, I then would have called that a good loop. He would have been using the condenser appropriately because the cobble would have provided the one for the bucket. Yeah. He didn't, so I don't really like the build overall. I don't think it was successful. Yellow, it's a blaze rod farm. I mean, he's got a redstone torch and this redstone engine where he could have used his counter at least in that fashion to hold on the redstone engine until he wanted to turn the machine off, and then he could have toggled it off, or at some point he could have done something. It's also overflowing.
It overflows. It doesn't even work properly.
But he did use all the items, and Waxed used all the items as well. Blue over here. I mean, his looks like the least expletive and most practical build. But then again, I wouldn't really say he used the water mill either or the MF, properly, because yeah, you're producing energy for what? And it's going to jam more than 50% of the time instantly because of pipe. He didn't use the proper pipe he could have used. So I don't know that there was, in my mind, any clear winners here today.
Yeah, this is actually pretty tough. Everybody kind of made similar, similar sized mistakes, if you will. So I think what we're going to do is discuss a little bit more privately off camera and then come back to see who's getting wrenched.
Okay.
All right, guys, so we'll be right back. All right, guys, after a very long off-screen judging, we are back to announce the player who is getting wrenched from the end of Episode 5, Round 2. So the player who today will be wrenched from the map is... Go for it, Slowpoke.
Okie dokie. It's...
Waxed. Sorry, Waxed. Judges?
Say,
What?
He had to wrench you. When it came down to it, your last build just didn't work, unfortunately. You were producing water with a condenser. I mean, come on. And yeah, it just didn't work. It was not up to snuff compared to the other builders. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming by, though.
Yeah, I will say, guys, it was super close. You guys who are in-game with us right now, not necessarily people watching this on YouTube, know that we were literally in there for like 15 minutes while the judges were deliberating on this. So it was probably one of the closest cuts that we had to do. Any other judges want to say anything?
I think actually the YouTuber guys are very lucky to actually skip the entire judging part because that would be another whole episode. It was quite a long process.
Yeah. They really had a lot of talking about to decide because there were smallish problems with each build. And in the end, it just really came down to Waxed. Your machine just stopped working because of the water not getting pumped into the bottom of the water mill, and then just a couple other minor details.
Yeah, I should have fixed that before going for aesthetics.
Ceremonial punching.
Yep.
No hugs.
Okay.
All right, guys. So this wraps up episode 2, round 2 of episode 5 of Wrenched. Hope you enjoyed checking it out, and come back next time for round 3 when we have our final 2 contestants, Way of Time and Lumindia. All right, guys. Take it easy.